Following on from our last video, how to build a website in Kajabi, I want to show you how to build landing pages in Kajabi. And before I explain the difference between website pages and landing pages, if you don't have Kajabi yet and you're just doing your research first, I'd love to offer you an extended free trial. Instead of the 14 days that Kajabi give you, I can give you 30 days trial. And as a thank you for using our affiliate link, you'll get our 28-day Kajabi Kickstart Challenge, where you'll get to build and sell your first mini course and use a free lead magnet to grow your email list as well. You'll be amazed at how simple it is to set this up, and we've seen many of our customers making sales before the end of their trial. And because we're committed to your success, every affiliate of ours is invited into our Kajabi Academy, where we'll support you in our community that includes bi-weekly support calls with me. If you stay past the trial, we're going to continue that support for as long as you stay on Kajabi, totally free of charge. The link for Kajabi Kickstart is in the description below. Right, so what makes a landing page different from a web page? Well, your website pages are the basic pages that you would expect to see on a website. Your home page, your about page, contact page, things like the login page that your customers will always come to when they're trying to access their courses and products, and potentially a blog area as well. So because it all wants to look complete and uniform, when you're making design changes to fonts and background colors and button colors, it's going to stay the same across all of those different pages that you've got. And things like the header and footer will be the same across all of your pages, which is great. With a landing page, it's a standalone page. And the purpose of the landing page is to encourage a call to action. It might be to download a free PDF, to register for a webinar, or it could actually be a full-blown sales page. But in all cases, your visitor only wants to make one action on the page. We're not confusing them, we're not giving them options. So we don't want a header up there they could potentially go off to their about page, things like that, or in the footer there have links to your social media platforms. We want them to stay focused on this one action. Now, here's a few examples that I've got to show you, and then we're going to go and actually build one and put one together and show you how it's done here in Kajabi. So first off, starting at the most basic, this is our gear guide that we give away. This has been downloaded over 7,000 times now, and you just simply click, put in your name and email, and you'll be sent to a thank you page with a download of this gear guide, everything that we use here in the studio. Then next level up from that would be, this is a webinar registration page. Notice that obviously apart from this, you don't have that header. There's nothing going on here. How I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs go from embarrassed on camera to making videos they're proud of. Click the button below. Yes, register my spot. And this will take them over then to an option here. This isn't built in Kajabi. Just before I get questions back from it, this is Easy Webinar that is pulling this in. But you get the idea. There's one call to action. There's information on there for them. We do have to put these policies on here. If it's a site that you're running ads and things to, Facebook will insist that you've got some of these policies, but we've put nothing on there very interesting that you'd want to go and read unless you were really into that. Okay, so a pretty simple page there. You can see the theme, it's still looking the same. Now we could go up to our full-blown sales page for impact, and again, still nothing at the top. All the buttons are only pointing you to one action, and that is to sign up. All right, so you can see different before and after videos and things. We'll go through, actually, I'll break down what is in here. My point is really that this is different to your web page. This is now a sales page. We're driving people through. We want them focused. This is a long form page. I like this style. Some of you don't, but that's fine. But again, we haven't got that on here. And we've no headers, no footers. The only thing you can do to leave this page is to click off to leave it, unless you're going to follow through and buy. Okay, so that's the difference really with landing pages rather than web pages. I don't tend to point people to my homepage. If they arrive there because they've realized adriansalisbury.com must have a home, then it really is just a fairly simple page that's signposting people saying, how can we help you today, to one of our academies. And our energy goes more into creating those sales pages, because whether it's a lead magnet or a webinar or something on social media, we're pointing them to that page where they'll hopefully make a purchase and come and join us in our communities and use our products. So let's have a look at landing pages then. Following it down, it's underneath website. If you're in here, click on landing pages and let's create a new landing page. So you have an option to start from scratch up here and build this out yourself, or there are some templates in here. Now, if you just saw my last video showing you how to build a website in Kajabi, I was encouraging you to go for one of these templates as a starting point, change colors and things around, and go from there. Now, if you've done that for your website and you've chosen a template with colors and fonts and things, and then you come over here and have something completely different, you do want there to be some continuity with your branding. And so just be a bit careful when you look at this, that you don't go from, you know, having some strong sort of image like this on your website, and then you come to a very floral, bright, pastel-y colored, design over here. So they do want to make sure they follow through, and it might be, I would certainly start from scratch and really be pulling in the colors and the elements that I've used on our website. But notice that these are categorized in here. So under sales pages, you've got 14 down here as options. So, and here's Prosper actually. So Prosper was what we used for the website. Let's just have a look at this. So this is going to give me a sales page over here. So I could, if I'd gone for the theme for Prosper for my website, this would make sense to be used for my sales page. Okay. That's pretty nice. So I could click on that and say get started, and I could call this, I'm actually in my live site now, so we're just going to call this demo over here so I don't get confused. Now I'm going to come back while this is coming in. That'll be fine. I was just going to say, let me come back to landing. Let's just go again, new landing page. We picked one a bit early there actually. So sales, if this was, so the podcast there, if you wanted a homepage for your podcast, link in bio. This is quite handy to, you don't need to go to one of these third-party tools anymore to be able to create these Linktree, is it? Somewhere like that you made these. You can actually build it out here in Kajabi. Or a thank you page. Again, you got 9 in here. So we talked about a thank you page when we were building the offers out in a previous video, that it's nice when somebody's made a purchase or they've registered or they've downloaded something that you take them to a thank you page. But it really wants to follow through to the same theme. So again, Prosper is in here if we wanted that. An opt-in page, we could carry on down here. Is there a Prosper? Yes, there is. So maybe rather than a sales page, we're opting into, in this case, it says a challenge, start today, 5 days, 5 live change in financial lessons. And then we break down what's happening on those 5 days, a little about who Riley is, and then a click at the bottom. So depending on what page you're after, you can come through these. A coming soon page, if before you've got anything built, you just want to get this up and to be able to hold people or have a place they can come to, and ideally have an email list in here that says, hey, we're not ready yet, but be the first to know, and then some formal policies and things in there. And I just want to point out that, again, I mentioned this in the previous video, but you can go over to templates. There is a whole store in here there's a sales page kit in here for $79. That this is basically what you're getting then. It's all laid out for you as a template. Like I say, just make sure there's some continuity between what you're doing. We're not trying to recreate that website page, but it doesn't want to look like you've just gone onto some totally different website. So we were just pulling in sales page demo, and I'm going to go through this assuming that you didn't watch my previous video. So I'm going to run down here again and explain how this page is built. We were just discussing, should we do it this way around, or I don't really want to be going, right, go back to that last video and watch it there. Conscious some of you may have just come in for this one, and it wouldn't hurt those of you that have been through the last video. Let's just see if it's sunk in by watching it a second time through. So this is your main builder area over here. And this is the page that is going to go out. It'll look like this. Obviously, you can adjust the width slightly and you'll see what happens when it does that. We will also open up a preview, and you'll see that it opens up a second tab. And this one then will carry any automations or, animations, things like that we could do. So it's always good to see, and things like links that we can click on will all be working in here. Obviously this is a theme, so it's not going to go anywhere. So how does this work? Down the left hand side then are all the sections that make up this page. So we have what's called a hero section, and that's this one here that's got this nice image sitting behind it. So all of this down to here would be classed as our hero, and it's telling me that there's text, then there's a video, and then there's text. So bearing in mind that this at the top is our header, you can see that that there is header, and when I click any area over on this side, it'll change on the left for me. So it's a super easy way of jumping through it. So this doesn't look like your regular header up here. If I clicked on normal, then this is going to be your header. The text is white on white, so that's not showing up. But the overlay one does look nice. Now, we were saying we don't want to have a header on this sales page, although this one has brought nothing in apart from a logo at the top. So it's not a bad thing. But if we wanted to lose the header, I could say desktop layout, and I would tick hide header. Now this is a good point that you've got a desktop layout and you've got a mobile layout. So when I choose over here, so at the minute we're viewing on this right side in my desktop. When I view over here, then I can view what a mobile would look like. And so that header is coming into the top. So I can choose that I've taken it out on the desktop, but on mobile it's still in. Now I wouldn't do this in this case. So I'm now, instead of looking under desktop layout, I'm in mobile layout, and I can again tick hide header. And if I save that, the header has now gone. Now we want to keep working in the desktop view. And so within this top area, this hero area, text, video, header. So this is our video. This will be our text. And this will be our second block of text that has got a call to action built into it. So let me just click on this. You'll see that left side changes. And the way we're doing this is across a width of 12 columns. So 12 columns would be the full width of the page. All right, so it's set there to that width of the page. See how that moves? It's got that padding on the edge of the page, which we want. We don't want it to go literally right to the edge. But 12 columns is that maximum width. I can pull that right back. So 6 columns now. You can see that box has just changed. And so it's kept it within that 6. So it's only using half of the page now. So you can adjust this. Sometimes I'll do this because it will just, it's easier to read like that, but it looks nicer. That one seems to be right across 2 lines, really like that. So there's the actual text. And because it's white text on a white background, they just put this outline for you to make it a little bit easier to read. And then that's the smaller font at the bottom. Now we can have a look in the source code. And this tells me up here that H1 is the heading font at the top. And then this bottom section is in P, paragraph. And actually there is this white style attached over the top of it. It's just sometimes useful to see that and see how this is made. So when I click up here on struggling, I can also here, you can see that there's a little gray mark there from heading. If I change that to H2, it will adjust that font down. And you might be thinking, well, that's a really small space to try and work and type in. I would pull this wider. I do my work over here, and then I can push it back over again. Failing that, if you wanted, you could click here and it will go full screen, and you can edit and lay it out how you want there, and then push it back to get back to here. So we've got a video in here. If you didn't want a video at the top of your page, then we could either hide this, and now it's gone. We could add any of these features here in. So if I wanted to put an image in here instead, and the same thing applies with these columns, I can adjust how wide I want that. We haven't got anything in, just a placeholder at the minute, but when I want to change this, so I want it to sit up here instead of the video. And so now we've got this heading, we've got an image, and then we've got some more text. Now, I wouldn't do this because we've got an image below it. That's going to look messy, but you get the idea. And I can bring this back if I want. I can click and show it again, and we're just going to delete that image. Actually, this is quite nice how they've got this laid out. In this second piece of text then, you've got your text box there, but how do we get to this call of action button? Well, there's down here underneath that, it says call to action. So you tick to include it or not. We can choose the text that sits over the top of it. And then we choose what happens. So in this case, and I didn't point this feature out actually in the previous video. Normally this could go to a two-step opt-in where somebody would put their name and email and then go off to another page. Maybe it's to go and watch a video or to download something. In this case, you can actually say, go to a section on this page. And so we've chosen to go down to pricing. And so if we look on the preview, when I click on this, it takes me right to the bottom of the page to pricing. And this is how we do it on our impact page as well over here. When I click at the top here to upgrade my videos, it scrolls me all the way down to this pricing section at the bottom. Okay, so you're getting a feel for how good this is over here. We can actually change this around. In the last video, we just put a video in the background. So within this hero section, I can click on background. And at the minute, we've got an image in the background. I can put a video in here. So if I were to upload a video, we put a video in here, and I was just showing in the last video Pixels, which is a free site to be able to download little video clips. So if you just hover over, it can just show something that you could have here. It'll do images as well, but it might be that you just think you'd like to have a little video clip play. And so if I can find the one that I just pulled down a minute ago, I just want you to see a different option here for what you could do in the background. So there's a video clip playing in the background, which could look really nice. It is. Just be careful that you need to keep that file size down because it's got to load in before it can play. Else, as it did there, it'll have a black screen. Change your mind, you can just go back to an image. Now, again, a couple of options with this image, and I'm showing you it here, but it isn't just in this main hero section. It's wherever you bring an image like this in the background. What I can do is, so where this scrolls with it, what I can do is say fixed background image. And so when this moves, notice that that picture in the background stays still. That can be a really cool effect. Certainly if you're scrolling down a page and this image is coming in part way through, that can look really nice. Notice as well that, again, with this background image, for now I'm just going to hide this video so that we can see a little bit more of that background. Notice that on this background, well, I'll show you it here. It's easier rather than trying to explain it. That background image there has got a semi-transparent black overlay. So if I push it all the way over, that is what is sitting in front of the image and masking it out. If I take it all the way back, so if I just dropped an image in here, and you might do this and go, it doesn't look right. I can't get the text. You can't read that text there. So by default, you'll have background color, and this means it sits in front of the image. And when I bring this up, look what happens. That's now halfway. I'm not quite sure where it was, but you could set it somewhere here so that you can still see the image behind, but it's much easier to read the text. Okay, so that's that hero section. Again, desktop layout, we can change things. So this does have padding on here. So the padding is, what does it say there? This is inside the section. So this will be this space here. So it's got 100 pixel padding. So watch what happens when I take this down to 20 pixels. You're going to see that that gap at the top has gone. Totally up to your design and how you got your page laid out. But if you find that this has pushed this down and you want to tighten up this space at the top, that's how you get into it in this desktop layout. And the same, the 40 on the side is why it wouldn't push all the way to the edge. Yeah. That's probably as much as we need to look at this stage. Then you've got this next section down that says social proof logos. So there is text here. This, when I click on it, the featured in is just text that we can type. This part here is an image that's been brought in. If you don't want this, if you don't have that, you can just simply hide it, and you've now moved down to the next section. One thing I would say is that it's quite nice to keep similar spacing. So you'll see that in this one, again, you've got this quite a big area at the top. So we're in the sections over here, and then these are blocks within it. So if I click on this left, I'm in the section, and desktop layout again is telling me now that there's 80 pixels there. So what I wouldn't do is, you've got a big gap at the bottom of that one, and then this one's tight. I tend to try to keep them quite consistent. So whatever we've got, if that's set to 100, then I would probably set this one to 100 as well if it could. And then you've got a similar, well, you've got the same spacing between the elements. So we're in this one here then, and it says text, text, text. So that is the first text, this section here. And if we wanted to, we could tighten up this width and it would just affect that section there. Yep, rather than anything below it. Then there's this middle section, and we can come in and type and change over here. And then we've got this third section, and if you remember, call to action, then we can include it down here. Let's have a look at the settings, because right down here, it's not pulling in any colors on this background. And I want, this is a good point to just jump across and show you the global settings for the page. Now I mentioned, so I just keep clicking back, and now we're out to here. I mentioned at the start that on a website page, the settings we make will carry across the whole site. It's not the same on a landing page. So when I go into a landing page, I can set a different favicon. So you might notice at the top here, so the favicons are these little icons at the side of the text. So there's Kajabi's one. That's my impact one. And then I've got a different one over here, which is that little cartoon of me. So we can change this on the different pages, and it will tell you on here, it's literally like a 32 by 32 pixel image. Don't bother making it any bigger. We can change the style guide, so page background color that would apply to everything. We could have a background image even that could sit in the background. Maybe you'd want to bring in a gradient or something, and it would be a way to do that. And notice then, look, the primary color is this green. So whenever there is a solid background, that's our primary color. And the button background color is green too. So we haven't changed these. So if I were to change this to this orange, save it, all of our buttons now will be orange. That one hasn't changed. So that one must have been custom changed inside. These ones have changed. So we can individually change them, but rather than doing that, we can set this to be a global setting, and I can hit undo up here to just take that back if I change my mind. Buttons width, button solid and outline. I'll show you with this when we're back on the page actually, because we can change it individually there. We can change the radius. Again, we'll show you all that in a minute. But then fonts, I can change the body font. So the body font will be the bit that sits between the P's when I showed you that source code. So it's just your main text in the body here. We can adjust the font type, the weight, and the line height that goes with it. And then headings are your H1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are these headings up here. You can bring in custom fonts that aren't listed in here. You can either bring them in from Google Fonts, or you can bring them in from outside. I'm not going to cover it in here because it's going to take a long time, and if it's not relevant to you, that's going to frustrate you. But when you're in Kajabi, for sure, you can go up to their search and have a look. I was checking it out earlier, and they've got some really good tutorials showing you how you can bring in any other font as well. Then you've got font colors in here, so you can notice that this one's coming in black. We could change these colors around. Desktop font sizes, so for each of those heading types, you can adjust the size, and you can do exactly the same thing on mobile and change it there as well. So a lot of settings that you can change in here. Then design, if you want, you can put, so you can have grids on here. Notice that there isn't really anything there laying that out. If I put the guides on, sorry, not grids, you will notice that it's now put all of these blocks and areas in here for me. This actually makes it easier when you're following along. So you can see now what I'm saying about this being a section and these being blocks inside. The grid, not loving the grid. It just kind of puts some lines across the background. And then custom coding. If you want to put some custom coding in, because this is a template, there is some custom coding already in this. It'll be things like, you see these ticks that are down here, that will be brought in as bullet points over here, somewhere down there. It'll be pulling that in as an icon, and then custom Java code as well. All right, so that's it there, but I just wanted to come back out and show you that those settings are there. And as I say, they only apply to this page, not to your website pages. Now, I skipped over the button that was here, and I said I'd come back to it. So our call to action, so we can change the color in here and change the style of it. So button width, see it over there, enroll now, is going to go, button width full. That'll fill that whole block. We can say solid or outline, and we can adjust the size of it. Looks like it was medium already, so we can increase the size, take it down. So this is only affecting this one button rather than in the settings we were affecting them across the whole page. Let's move down our page. What else have we got in here? So within this section then, we've got an image and text. So you can see that image there, text there. If you decided you wanted it the other way around, you literally just switch them over and no, there it did. and then it flips it around that side. And again, we're still working in that same idea that the image is 5 of 12 columns wide. We can make that smaller and it will just shrink that down. So both of these, so actually 6 and 5, that's not 6 and 6, so that's keeping it in slightly from the whole page. But you can add any sections in here you want. This one, text, image, text, within this block. So text, it's a video, text, video, text. If you wanted this video to sit on its own rather than being alongside this one. Firstly, it's doing it because it's 6 columns wide and this is 6 columns wide. So they will stay there until you push past 12 and then it will force it to have one on top of the other. But if we wanted to, we could say desktop layout and place this block on its own row. So now it's sitting above this one and it won't get forced to sit next to it regardless of how big or small it is. Here we're in another section where we've got text, image, feature, image, feature, and so on. That's just running down there, and on any of these I can jump into them then. Notice that this image is coming out of its block, so you can, within these, I don't want to get complicated with this, but you can adjust these spacings. It's not that one then, it's this one. But yeah, this goes -32. So this one isn't staying in the block that it should be in, it's shifted to the left. So if I take that off, that now sits back in its box as it should do. But it's just a way of playing with this design. Now we could do things if we wanted to on here as well. I haven't showed you any animations on this tutorial. So if I come over here and we say we want to zoom right, so it's going to come in and we're going to do a ½ second delay. Actually, animation duration, let's make that last a little bit longer. Let's do our preview, that wasn't it. So let's come to the top of the page here, refresh it. I just want to show you just some little animations that you can do, just a bit next level. Look what happens when I come down here. See how that just pops in there, and yeah, different ways you can play with that. So that was a zoom. We can do a flip. We adjust how long it takes for, or a delay. So as we get to that part of the page, do we want it to, sometimes when you get to it, it's already come in and you've lost it, or it just does something like that and flips. It can be quite nice and interesting. Again, we did this with sections. Where are we? These ones down here. So as you come down to it, they just kind of come out from the side. It's just a little bit more visually interesting for people. Image with text with call to action button, or text and image. We've got a quotes block here, which actually I think is just, yeah, it's just featured cards. So there's an icon at the top, and then there's our text, which comes in here, and we've got 3 blocks across. So these are 4 wide, so 3 4s will make a par 12. So all of these fit in here really nice and evenly and fit to the width of that. We've got a countdown in here. We need to have an event. Don't think we've got any events. Oh, of course we have. We're on my site now. Let's put an event in here. And what you'll see is that will then pick up. So you need to create event first. We will get to a video talking about events further through this playlist, but we're going to create an event, and look, it's telling me there how far away it is. And then we've got this these options here. Then with everything you find, you just click on it here and it will take you to change it over on the side. Really isn't hard or complicated. If you change something and you don't like it, just click back and it'll come from it. And you can click down here and register to as it says here, payment plan or pay in full. And we covered this when we looked at offers in a previous video, showing you the options there of how you can set up the pricing for a pay in full like this, or a subscription, and then you would just link to that offer back underneath this. So that would be your call to action, and we would link over to the checkout page for that. Then at the bottom here, we've got an FAQ block, and you can click in here. So you type the heading, or that's the bit that is there to start with, and then when you click it, it'll show you the second part. You can just duplicate these and just keep building up this list if you want to add in more and more in. So what have I missed, if anything? I'm conscious I've just literally recorded a few hours ago the how to build a website, and I'm trying to think what I've said in that video that or whether I said it in this one. But I'm hoping you can see the power of this. This is incredible for, as I showed you there, either a long form page like this, and these are the FAQs that appear underneath, or down to very simple one here. So this is just an image at the top that was a logo. Background color was red. This one, background color is black. Then we've got an image with a text with a call to action. So you can kind of start to hopefully build up and see what these different elements are, and you could start to look at a page and go, yeah, actually I've got this sus now. Background image in here, text in the middle with a call to action button. This is text with a call to action and an image on the side. In fact, this isn't an image, that would be a feature because there's an image with text underneath it. And then over here, featured cards, 3 of them. It isn't hard, and I would encourage you to have a play with this. Download one of these templates or start from scratch. You can add in all these sections over here. Actually, I don't even think I showed you, did I? These are all the sections, all the options that you've got. All the text, call to actions, the heroes. So like in fact, it will show me at the bottom here. It will let you preview. If you want it, you click add hero with a video. So the text and then a video, which is kind of what was up here, wasn't it? It was text with a video and text. And if you wanted it to be text with a video underneath, then you set one of those sections, one of those blocks to say show on its own row. I'm hoping it's making sense. Featured cards. So these are the 3 that are appearing along here. So this would have been what I did. This here would have been one of those with text and then an image at the top. So it doesn't need to be a small icon at the top. It could be a full-size image and just a line of text underneath, and you don't need to have call to actions on. You could just untick that. Carousel is what we've got at the top of our impact page. So this would be a carousel that is just scrolling through, showing before and after videos. Yep. So that's just going to play and scroll through over there. So you can add one of those in. It might be testimonials. That's quite typical. Just make sure with testimonials that it's not too long, that people can't read it before it's gone. Opt-in forms, multi-video launch. We have used this not on a landing page, but on a thank you page that then somebody registers to do a 3-part video series. And this is how you do it. They can work through the videos and you drop your video in there. I'm pretty sure, probably not out here. I've definitely made a video on this in our Kajabi Academy. We could make one on how to do this and add it into this playlist. So be sure to subscribe. Images, audio, video, even down to embedded video. So if you want to be able to bring in a video from somewhere like YouTube, you can get the code from over there and drop it into your page here. Offers, pricing cards, FAQs you saw, testimonials. So this will bring these in. Nothing special. It's just kind of organized it so you put their image, name and text, pulling in here from a blog post. And then if you're into custom coding, then you can actually do that or put a custom widget in down here. So the best thing I could encourage you to do is just go and have a play with this. Like I say, you can't really go wrong. Play with it, have it previewing every time you save it, come back up here, refresh it, see what happens. And yeah, let me know how you get on. So hopefully I haven't just totally overwhelmed you with all that. Watch it through again if need be. But hopefully you can see there just how powerful Kajabi is. It's more than capable of giving you a powerful landing page editor here. You don't need to be using third-party tools, which means you can cut down on subscriptions to these other things. Plus, by keeping everything all on one platform, honestly, I used to try, I had a WordPress site, I was using lead pages for sales pages, I was using ConvertKit for emails, and trying to get all these things talking, and then handling the payments as well. It was hard work, and if it didn't connect and work, nobody wanted to help me. This is all in one place. So, this landing page is going to the form that's built here, feeds into emails that are in Kajabi. When somebody purchases, that's all done in Kajabi. The payment's handled in Kajabi. So if there's any queries at any point, you can get on a call to support and they can see everything and they'll be able to help and work you through it. So that is a massive plus by trying to stay in an all-in-one solution like Kajabi. Remember I said at the start, if you haven't signed up for Kajabi yet, please consider using our affiliate link. It costs you nothing. What we do is the commission that Kajabi pay us, we give back to you in the form of support. So this is what enables us to give you that 28-day challenge. And more than that, as you stay on Kajabi, if after the trial you decide, yeah, I'm building in here, I'm staying, then Kajabi will continue to give us an affiliate commission for that. And that really we see as your membership fee into our Kajabi Academy, where I'm going to show up every 2 weeks. So I think that's a great investment for you. Doesn't cost you anything. If you're able to come through our affiliate link, if you haven't signed up already, we'd really appreciate that. So again, that link is down in the description. And next, we're going to move on to look at headers and footers, because it's the next thing down the navigation in Kajabi. So why don't you come over and watch us in that video? Or if you're new to this playlist, you can link down here and go back to the start and watch the whole playlist through. And while you're here, why not hit subscribe and make sure that you get notified whenever we've got new videos coming out. See you in another video.